So everything is terrible, everything sucks, and this is yet another masterclass example of why you should not get your hopes up for anything coming from Rockstar that is not coming from their official team. Basically, in case you have been AFK this morning, we found out what that Red Dead remake is gonna look like, what it's gonna be. They announced it officially, and it's like way worse than than even I was ready for. I was saying, no, maybe we shouldn't get our hopes up too much because, you know, it's like Rockstar, the last remaster trilogy that they did was pretty terrible. So maybe let's like quell those expectations a little bit, like be skeptical. Let's just calm down. I didn't even think that it was gonna be this bad. So I guess we're just gonna get into it because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Also, you've probably noticed we are streaming live here on Luke Stevens Live. If you want to come over and hang out with us, it's pinned in the description. I'm probably live or possibly just got off live whenever you're seeing this because I stream a lot, and we're recording this live on August 7th at 10:30 a.m. So you could have been here. You could have been one of these lovely people in the chat, but you weren't. You weren't. So fix that now. So what they revealed was this tweet on August 17th, the beloved Western experience, Red Dead Redemption, and its horror companion, Undead Nightmare, arrived together for the first time on the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation systems. Interesting. What are the details of this, pray tell? Let's investigate. Does that mean it's coming to like PS5? It's like a remake? Oh, it's coming to Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation freaking 4. I had low expectations. I didn't expect much. They somehow found a way to just blow me away. You know what? You gotta hand it to Rockstar. They sure do know how to just blow me away every single time. Wow. Wow. It's coming to that console, to the console that's 10 years old, that's technically last gen. But in their tweet, they also say that it's coming to modern PlayStation systems. Like, this is factually wrong. Definitionally, it is not the modern console. Like, no, it's just not. They broke me. They broke my brain. I don't know what to say anymore. Oh, God. But what does this actually look like? Maybe it actually looks really good. Maybe they've done something. Well, we actually have some screen caps, some screen grabs. Ben from Videotech X here on, I was going to say Twitter. I guess it's X now. Does that mean you're Xing when you tweet? But it still says tweet. I don't know. They said that these are screen caps from the PS4. There seems to be visible LOD improvements and some texture upgrades. Okay. It sure seems like it. If it renders at a higher resolution, the shadows look decent. Yeah, you can see shrubs are rendering in the background. The previous port on 360 and PS3 was not quite like that. But, I mean, still, you're porting it to PS4. And I guess they're going to make it available for purchase on PS5, but it's going to be one of those PS4 versions. So you have to select the PS4 version of the game and download it from there. I guess maybe that's how they're gonna do it, but it just blows me away. Like, we're 3 years into this console generation and they're announcing a port to the last generation's console. It just doesn't make any damn sense at all. I'm like legitimately, verifiably very, very, very confused. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I don't understand. But if we actually like try to give this a fair shot, okay, we're gonna be good boys. We're gonna try to give this as much of a fair shake as possible. So they're bringing games to the Switch and the PS4, okay, in a single package, okay. It's being done by Double 11 Studios. Okay, we're gonna look those guys up. You better trust and believe. And they will be available through backwards compatibility on the PS5. Okay, like I was saying, that makes sense. And then they kind of hype it up a little, describe it a bit, and it's $50. Oh God. Oh God. It's $50 freaking dollars, dude. $50 for not a remaster, a port of a game that's like what, 13 years old coming to a 10-year-old console. Like literally this port should have happened like 10 years ago. It doesn't make any damn sense at all why this is happening. Like Obama would have been president when this port should have happened. That's how long ago we're talking. And they're still just coming out with, dude, they're frying my actual brain right now. They don't even like clearly describe what it's supposed to be. They don't say remaster. They don't say remake. They're not saying anything like that. They're just saying it's a new conversion. That, oh my God, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Okay, deep breaths. Okay, what else do they have? What other information do they have that might be able to win me over on this? Apparently people have looked into details. There's no 60 FPS mentioned at all, so presumably this is going to run at 30. There's also no Xbox port of this because Xbox currently allows you to play it through backwards compatibility, so I guess they just didn't feel like they needed to bother, which is really dumb, especially if there are upgrades done to this. If they actually did swap out some like textures and increase LOD and stuff, the fact that they're just not bringing an Xbox port is really sucky. That pisses me off. But also like $50 for a port to last gen consoles. It's just amazing. But who is this studio that's putting this together? So Double 11 is their name. A new dawn for gaming. Gaming is in our blood, but the color of their font. Who chose this font color? You can't read it. You have to like highlight it to read it. Already, dude. Like on your website, I can't read the text on your website. Who chose this color? What have we got going? Games, Red Dead Redemption, Fallout. You can't make this up, dude. They helped with Fallout 76. Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay, did somebody sneak me something? Am I like high on some drug and somebody's pranking me right now? You can't you can't make this up. Like, dear God Almighty. And, oh, Jesus Christ, you're right. You're right, Epic KP's in the chat. They also worked on Crackdown 3. They supported co-development, responsible for the Windows 10 store versions of the campaign and Wrecking Zone online PvP modes. They somehow managed to find a team that has been like directly involved in some of the worst ports and worst games in recent memory. Like, it's honestly stunning. Just absolutely stunning. They, I guess, were founded in 2009. They've worked on a bunch of like random ports and stuff. Wow. Again, like our expectations were pretty low, but Jesus Christ, God Almighty, monkey balls. This is something else, man. I'm gonna have a stroke. I don't even know what to say. Like, wow. So realistically, what probably happened is that they were working on a remake. That would be my expectation. They were working on a remake or something, and then they decided at some point, usually or probably after that GTA trilogy launched and got really poor reviews, they probably looked at it at that point and said, oh, we don't want a response like that, so let's just do a port. Let's call it, like, keep it simple. We won't do a remaster remake. It's just too much trouble. Let's just do that. And then they pivoted to this and are launching it on PS4 of all platforms. I just don't understand. No part of this makes any damn sense at all. It is the height of laziness. Like, you can't make this up. If you were trying to come up with a story where Take-Two does something really lazy with the Red Dead franchise, I don't think you could have gotten this lazy. This is unbelievable. It highlights one of the most bizarre elements of Rockstar Games and of Take-Two as a company. They have an amazing studio in Rockstar with all sorts of subsidiaries, thousands of employees that make some of the greatest games of all time consistently. And yet they also produce some of the laziest steaming piles of garbage consistently as well. It's like they blow their load on GTA and Red Dead 2 and then GTA 6. And then when it comes to everything else, they have the janitor do it during the night shift. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. It's baffling. And it really like starts to make you worry about something like GTA 6. Because if like, while the studio is very capable, the management is this incompetent. The managers within Take-Two Interactive were pitched this and said, yeah, that sounds good. This is what they were hyping up in their earnings call. They said, yes, we've got a bunch of stuff coming, re-releases of previous entries in some of our most successful franchises. We're really excited to see how those perform in the market. And this is what they were talking about. All of this to say, this is why it's important to maintain a healthy, skeptical outlook so that you don't get horrifically disappointed. Like, this is, of course, disappointing, but it's also just really freaking funny because we were expecting some shoe to drop. There was going to be something where they screw it up in some way. I don't think anybody was expecting for them to just do something this incredibly stupid, but you know what? They managed to surprise us. You know, maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that's the takeaway. Rockstar, they're just really good at surprising and like blowing people away. And wow, they've they sure have managed. Yeah, so the other thing, you guys are mentioning this in chat, all of you Chads in chat. I do think there is perhaps a little bit of responsibility laid at the feet of the like and not necessarily leakers. Leakers were just posting stuff that they knew about. Now we definitely can see who was telling the truth and who wasn't, because as we said before the recording started, there were people on Twitter, insiders, saying that they had seen gameplay footage of the remaster and that it looked amazing. And they were getting tons of engagement on their posts by saying that they were seeing the gameplay footage and it looked great and there's reason to be really excited. And now we know that they were just simply lying. So that is helpful. We know who the real G's are, as it were. But the other piece of this is it highlights why speculation is so bad for the industry as a whole, because when you're just making stuff up, when you just say stuff, it might be fun, it might be exciting to just be like, oh yeah, well, source told me that they're gonna like release this at 4K 60 with like all sorts of crazy upgraded textures, animations upgraded. It's gonna be in the Red Dead 2 engine. They just start throwing stuff out, and then that just ends up not being true. You end up with a lot of people who today are like shell-shocked, are blown away. We're laughing it off because we kind of expected them to screw it up, but a lot of people were under the impression that it was basically all but confirmed that this was going to be a full-on remake, even though it hadn't been announced yet. So that's why I think you have to be a little more level-headed with this. My new favorite feature is the remastered price. Bigger and better than ever. Let's see, what's Michael saying? Michael, if you don't know Michael, he's Legacy Killer HD. He does a lot of reporting on Rockstar stuff, and you probably, I mean, surely you've seen his videos and stuff. And he's a good guy. He makes good stuff. But what he said is, I do think a lot of people don't understand how negatively much of the Rockstar Games community feels about the company right now. GTA Online paywalled tons of content, and last update was poorly received, the trilogy remake debacle, and now we have this $50 Red Dead Redemption port. In addition to those things, we also have the death of Red Dead Online. Last couple of years have been quite rough for Rockstar. Oh, and there's the GTA 5 E and E. What is E and E? Does anybody in chat know? Help me understand. Didn't they also remove like a bunch of cars from GTA Online? Didn't they also do that? Expanded and enhanced? Oh, so it was like an upgraded version for PS5. Okay. And yes, they removed like over 200 cars. It really makes you wonder if they're getting too high on their horse. Pun intended. Gotta believe that Rockstar probably was developing an actual remaster for Red Dead Online. Oh yeah, no, Red Dead Redemption, but after the horrendous reception GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, they scrapped those plans and instead chose a simple port and outsource it. Safer option, I guess. But they also outsourced the trilogy, the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. They also outsourced that. So it makes me think that they probably outsourced this from the beginning, and we're just gonna go with the road more traveled, I guess. Like, it's really a bummer, but I have to think that if this PS4 port is releasing now, like, surely if they knew it was releasing in 2023, they would have just ported it to PS5, or like had a separate version that you can sell for 60 on the PS5. Why not do that? So this makes me think that they were working on this for years, that they sat on it for a bit because they just needed more work on it or something. Or maybe they saw the response to the Trilogy Definitive Edition and they said, okay, polish it up, make sure it runs well. And then they are deciding to release it now. Because I don't know why 3 years into a generation, you would say in your tweet, releasing on modern PlayStation systems. And what you mean is that you're releasing on the last gen system from 10 years ago that you can play using backwards compatibility. By that definition, imagine if Xbox was like, yes, we're happy to bring a new release of Fallout New Vegas. We're re-releasing it on the Xbox 360, but it runs on modern consoles too, just through backwards compatibility. Like, everybody would be like, no, dude, like, you know what you're doing. That's not how that works. You don't get to say that. But for Rockstar, they just say it so confidently. It blows my mind, man. God, and perhaps the most frustrating thing of all of this, which we haven't even touched on yet. The most frustrating thing about this whole thing, there is still no PC port. Still. Like 13 years after this game's launch, or 12 years after this game's launch, still no PC port. And that's mainly what I was interested in with this remaster, remake, whatever this was going to be, was the chance to finally play this on PC. You could get modders to really improve performance and even the graphical fidelity of the game. On PC, it would have been great, but instead they're porting it just to the Switch and to the PS4, whatever. Screw you, PC players. It just doesn't make any damn sense to me. It's not even an online game. They don't even have the online stuff. It's just the single player stuff. So they're not even necessarily worried about like hackers or stuff in the online. And it makes me think that it's just that they were looking for the easiest, laziest way to re-release this and try to score some nostalgia points with people. And this is how they did it. Carl, thank you. This RDR2 news is quite disappointing, or RDR news is quite disappointing. I do think that a lot of people's complaints would disappear if it weren't for it being such a high price too. Yeah, frankly, if they came out and they released, or they were bringing this out at, say, maybe $20, I think people would be less upset about it. They still probably would be disappointed because there's a lot of statements that have been made by executives that would suggest that they wouldn't typically do things like this. So Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick 2 years ago, quote, "What we've done differently than the competition is we don't just port titles over, we actually take the time to do the very best job we can, making the title different for the new release. Since then, we've gotten the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition and soon the new conversion for Red Dead Redemption, both not developed by Rockstar." So, like, he said that they don't do this kind of thing, and they've done it twice now. And he specifically praised the Mafia remasters from Take-Two and presumably also the Mafia Definitive Edition as well. It's just, it doesn't make any damn sense at all. And then he's, yeah, this whole thing is justifying why remasters from his company will outperform the competition. And then they've underperformed because they've been lazy piles of garbage. So this is why I think people are so disappointed. It's because they've been told by the executives, we're not going to do X. And then they've done X, but they've done X in such a lazy way that it's way worse than we could have possibly imagined. So even though our expectations were low, they've somehow managed to blow us away even more. But with all that said, I am just, I'm not mad, Rockstar. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. They broke my brain. I've been fried all afternoon because of this, and I don't know how I'm possibly going to recover. So with that said, we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming here on the stream. But I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us live for this segment. And if you want to join us live for other segments that get turned into cool videos like this, and you want to be in a video, you can do that. Just come by and say hi. We'd love to have you. But with all that said, thank you for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you in the next video. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.